Hello and welcome to SULKNATIONtv. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the true value of a modified car. Now, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think we all know that. So let's take a little drive and discuss value. Let's discuss what modified cars bring to people. Is there a sell-on value? Isn't there a sell-on value? Why can stock cars be more expensive than well-modified cars? Well, let's have a discuss whilst we drive. Gotta love that startup. So what I think we need to discuss first, realistically, is how modified, what stage of modification are we talking about when it comes to a modified car? Because I think there's predominantly three stages. I think you have tastefully modified, which essentially is a couple of aesthetic mods, maybe you've changed your exhaust up, that sort of thing. Then we've got where I'd classify my car as a modified car, where I've got essentially, aesthetic mods, but I've also got engine bay mods, like my uprated intercooler, my cabs pulley system. All of those bits and pieces are all what I would refer to as a modified car. So yeah, this R53 is a modified R53. It's not lightly modified, it's not the third stage, heavily modified. It's modified. And so when we're discussing highly modified cars, that's what we're talking about. Stripped out completely, bucket seats, rear seat deletes, big brake kits, all of those sort of things, all of those little bits and pieces that cost a lot of money and make your car essentially a track weapon rather than just an easy, manageable road car. Now, as I've said in previous videos, my car, my R53, is predominantly set up for roads like we're on now. So, twisty, windy, brakey, fasty country lanes. And so having it any more modified than it already is, other than maybe brakes, I don't need to go there. But if you've got a heavily modified car, you've spent a lot of money on it. I thought I'd spent a lot of money on this. No, we're talking tens of thousands, potentially, especially with those guys out there that, do turbo upgrades or turbo an R53, if we're still talking about an R53. So there are distinct areas of modification, there are distinct levels of modification. And it makes me think, why are stock cars held in such high regard when it comes to sell-on value? I'd say you're probably looking at a similar sell-on value with a tastefully modified car as you would be a stock car. So if we take the R53, a 2005 plate one of these, with the same sort of mileage I've got in stock form, is going to be more expensive than I could get for this car. Now, I've spent over £6,000 on this car, on the things I've done to it, and I'd be lucky to get half that. And I mean lucky. I'd be lucky to get half that. So why does a stock car, or a very lightly modified car, hold more value? Is it due to people's thoughts that, a modified car has been ragged, has had the arse ragged out of it, let's say? Yeah, possibly. I think that does probably go down to it, but there's very few people in the modified car scene that at least I know that would spend a good amount of money like I've done on a car and just not give a toss about the maintenance or the parts used to keep the maintenance in check. And I think that's where it is. I think that's where the issue lies, is because you've got a modified car, and we're talking, as I've said, more than lightly modified, because you've got a modified car, that means that you know, it's on its last legs. It's in bits. It's, you know, it's not been maintained because it's Boy Racer, which is total bollocks. It's not Boy Racer. I'm 37. I'm nearly 38. I'm not a Boy Racer. I've spent my hard-earned money on making a car a really enjoyable B-road basher, and I've spent a lot of money on top quality components. All right, so yeah, you could argue that my MTC Motorsport intercooler isn't a top quality uprated intercooler, and you know, you'd be right. It costs 120 quid. It's not, you know, an AirTech intercooler, which looks pretty much the same. It's not a GERS intercooler. It's a MTC Motorsport intercooler. It's essentially a branded Chinese knockoff, but it does the job. It works really well. So the quality of components, other than maybe that one, and it's still a good one, it gets good write-ups, I've reviewed it and I think it's great, you know, I think it's a ridiculous argument, because I've used proper high-end bits to maintenance-wise to keep this car going, to improve this car, to make this car considerably better than it was when I first got it. And it was pretty much bone stock when I first got it. Sorry about how loud that pull away was. But yeah, when I first bought this car, it was pretty much bone stock. It had some aftermarket wheels on it. It had you know, a crap wrap on the roof, and it had some fake carbon fibre covers over the wing mirrors and stuff like that. Nothing else was modified. It wasn't a modified car when I bought it. It was, you know, not even tastefully modified. I mean, you're just talking about a set of wheels essentially. So from that point of view, this car now should be more valuable than a stock car of its age and mileage, because I know, and I've got receipts to prove it, that I've spent good money on either quality OEM parts or very high quality aftermarket parts. So, you know, that maintenance angle, this car's in better shape than it was when I bought it. It's in better shape than a lot of cars with similar mileage and spec. And you know, it's disappointing that I know, because it's modified, that if I'd left it and just sort of, you know, cleaned it up a bit, it would be worth more money. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about value. We're talking about monetary value. I'd lose money on this from a monetary point of view. The value of this car has gone down since I've owned it because of it being modified. That's a simple truth. Unless you find somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about, or somebody that does know what they're talking about and can appreciate the effort and trust the work that's been done, you're not going to get what you've put into the car. You're not going to get that back. It's not going to happen. Unless, of course, you go down the road of breaking it for individual components, which I'm not a big fan of. Keep as many of these on the road as possible. Come on, pigeon, move out the way. I don't want to run you over. Oh, I'll move into the middle of the road and, you know, do myself mischief possibly there. But yeah, so I think all of us who have modified cars in the way that this car is modified, you know, you're gonna feel a little bit let down because of the fact that you're losing money on stuff you've spent money on and put a lot of hard work into, if you were going to sell the car. This is where the true value I mentioned in the start of the video, the true value of this car and of a modified car is what you get out of it. Now, I absolutely adore driving this car, and yes, right now I'm sticking to the speed limit, which seems relatively mundane because of the road, but I get so much enjoyment from using this car in this way. That's where the value is. The true value of a modified car is 100% the smile it puts on the owner's face. That is the true value. The monetary value, yeah, I've screwed myself. You know, if I put this up on the market to sell, I'd probably put it up for 3,200 quid and hope to get 3 grand. I've spent well over 6. So from a monetary point of view, you know, it's not a win. But from a true value, what am I getting every time I drive it? How much enjoyment am I getting every time I drive it? Without sounding like a credit card commercial for you guys in America, or advert for the guys in the UK and probably Australia, it's priceless. That's the true value. Your hard-earned money, graft, sweat, blood quite often, and tears is the true value of a modified car. If you love it, then true value. And I'm just going to slow down a little bit because I didn't realise that, oh, the speed limit dropped there. I've forgotten. And, you know, who knows what lays about the countryside when it comes to police camera vans. But yeah, the true value is how you feel about it. If you love what you've done to the car and you don't really care that you're not going to make your money back, the true value is you've enjoyed yourself and you've enjoyed everything you've done to it. That's the true value. Screw monetary value, we're going to make a loss, people. When I sell this car, I'm making a large loss. I'm making a 55–60% loss. But that's not the value of the car. So I hope you've enjoyed this relatively quick episode of SULKNATIONtv. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, click that little bell icon, and, you know, watch more episodes, watch a playlist. I mean, I've got plenty of videos, and the channel's only been around since August 2020. So, yeah, enjoy. Please watch more. And until the next time, I've been me, you've been you, and well done for that.